All right, so today we're going to be talking about Spark. And Spark is a method of feedback. So the goal of feedback is that we help each other to grow and improve. Spark is a checklist of criteria that we're going to use to make sure that our feedback is accomplishing this goal. So Spark stands for specific, prescriptive, actionable, referenced, and kind. When we're talking about feedback, when we talk about it being specific, it means that the feedback is linked to specific words, phrases, sentences, or line numbers if we're talking about poetry. All right. So we're targeting a small portion of whatever we're giving feedback to. Prescriptive means that we are trying to solve a problem. We're going to offer a solution or a strategy that can be used to improve the work, including a possible revision, maybe even a link to a resource that somebody could use to learn more about what the problem is, or examples. Okay. Actionable means that it leaves your peer knowing exactly what steps they need to take in order to make an improvement. And then finally, referenced means that it's directly referencing the criteria for whatever task we're working on or assignment, whatever those requirements are or the skill that we're working on. And above all, our comments should be kind. So, to review, SPARK stands for specific, prescriptive, actionable, referenced, and kind. When you get feedback, you should be able to walk away knowing what to do and how to do it. And using these criteria for Spark will help us to be able to do that. So we're going to be using our CJO assignment in order for us to start working on providing each other with feedback that is following that Spark method. So remember that a CJO poem, a Korean poem, has certain criteria in order for it to be considered a CJO. It should have 3 total lines. Each line should have 15 syllables to it. The first line should introduce or state the theme. The second line should develop the theme. And the third line is going to offer some sort of twist, maybe a surprise, and it should give you some sort of emotional response, whether it is shock, surprise, sadness, happiness, whatever. Okay, it should offer some sort of twist there. All right. So first we're going to look at a CJO written by a student. This is Bree. Bree's CJO says, "My skin is light, my eyes are hazel, and my hair is blonde. I'm one of a kind, but it is not what it seems. I am just as colored as my mother's blueberry black skin." So remember, we need to follow the criteria for the CJO. It should have 3 lines. It should have 15 syllables per line. The first sentence should introduce or state the theme. The second should develop the theme a little bit. And the third should offer some sort of twist. All right. So looking at Bree's CJO, one of the things that we can do is we can copy and paste it into our syllable counter tool. So we know that she has all 3 lines. We know that she doesn't need to add any more lines. So we're going to take a look now specifically at the line she has. So by putting it into the syllable counter, we can see her first line has 14 syllables. The second line has 12 syllables, and the final line has 15. So according to this true CJO form, her first line is 1 syllable shy of meeting the criteria. The second line is 3 syllables shy of meeting the criteria. And the final line meets that criteria. Okay. So that's one of the first things that we can look at. After that, we could then look at if we met all of those, we could then look at the next thing. Does she introduce the theme? Does she then develop the theme? And does she offer a twist? Okay. But for this, we're going to look specifically at the syllables. So remember, we identified the fact that her second sentence in her poem, the second line, is shy of meeting the criteria by 3 whole syllables. So we're going to give her a specific, prescriptive, actionable, referenced, and kind comment. So what I've done is I've color-coded the comment that I wrote down here at the bottom for her so that it is clear which piece follows what criteria from Spark in order to give her feedback that is going to make it so that she knows exactly what she needs to do and how to do it. So I start off with the kindness. It says, Bree, I enjoyed reading your poem. Then I moved on to being specific. Line 2 has 12 syllables, so I'm telling her exactly what line I need her to go and do work on. All right. Next, I'm going to reference, because that's where I'm going to tell her what the problem is. So I'm referencing the criteria from what we know a CJO needs to be in order for her to go in to fix this. So it says it needs to have 15 syllables to be a true CJO. So I'm telling her now exactly where the problem is and what the problem is. Okay. So now I'm going to need to be prescriptive, giving her something that she can use to solve the problem, and actionable, a way that she can use that possible prescription. Okay. So the next part is our prescriptive, and it says one way you could fix this is to add a few words. All right. So I've told her how to fix it, but now I'm going to be more specific and give her an action plan. You can add the phrase uniquely me after the word kind in the sentence, but you would need to change it is to its in order for it to fit the number of syllables that we're looking for. So when she's done, it would be changed to my skin is light, my eyes are hazel, and my hair is blonde. I'm one of a kind, uniquely me, but it's not what it seems. I am just as colored as my mother's blueberry black skin. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little look at some other comments that Bree's peers have written. And we're going to decide for ourselves if these fit the Spark criteria. All right, so the first comment is, I love how you talk your skin and how you show that you are proud of who you are. So does this follow Spark? Is it specific? Is it prescriptive? Is it actionable, referenced, or kind? So what I want you to do is looking at this comment, tell me which of the criteria you think this comment hits. All right, so if you said that this is a kind comment, then you are correct. It didn't actually meet any of the other criteria. It is only kind. Although it's great that it's kind, it doesn't give Bree any feedback to tell her what she needs to do to improve the essay. All right, so let's look at the next one. So this next comment says, Bree, your poem was nice, but in line 1 and 2, they don't have all 15 syllables. Maybe you can be more descriptive in line 2 and add more syllables. So again, look at your Spark criteria in the answers here and choose for yourself if you think that that second comment follows all of these. Is it specific? Is it prescriptive? Is it actionable? Is it referenced? And is it kind? Remember, we're looking at the second piece of comment here that says, Bree, your poem was nice, but in line 1 and 2, they don't have all of the syllables. Maybe you can be more descriptive in line 2 and add more syllables. So go ahead and use the checklist below for your answer to check off all of the criteria for Spark that this comment meets. Okay, so if you said that the comment was kind, that it was reference, because it does reference the 15 syllables, and that it was specific because it told the line numbers, then you are correct. However, it is missing one thing. It is not actionable. It didn't give her any suggestions as to what she could do to fix those 2 syllables other than to add it. She doesn't have any suggestions or examples. So that brings us to our final one. And our final one I picked because Shiloh was very good at giving us all of those criteria. So he said, Bree, I really liked your poem. It was very powerful. So he's already starting off with being very kind here. Unfortunately, some of the syllable counts were off. So now he's going to start discussing what issues he found in the poem. Line 1 only has 14 syllables, and line 2 only has 12 syllables. So here he's being referenced. He's referencing the criteria, and he's also addressing exactly what issues need to be fixed here. In order to be classified as a CJO, each line needs to have 15 syllables. In order to meet the syllable requirements, you will need to add a few words to your poem. In line 1, you could change the name of one of the colors describing your eyes or hair. You could change hazel to chocolate or cinnamon. You could also change blonde to champagne or golden. In line 2, you can add on to the first part by saying, I am unique. And then combine it is to make it its to go back to 15 syllables. So he's given her all of those pieces of a good Spark comment here. He was specific, he was prescriptive, he was actionable, he was referenced, and he was kind. So that is the kind of comments that we're working towards. For the most part, when we are doing these activities, students are very good at doing the first or the second type of comment. It's getting to that last one that we all need to work on. So remember, when we are making comments and giving feedback for our peers, we need to be specific, we need to be prescriptive, we need to be actionable, we need to be referenced, and we need to be kind so that our peers know what to do and know how to do it after we leave them a comment. Just like when we are going back to our own poetry, we too will know exactly what to do and how to do it.